Hello. Cheers. So how we all doing? Back again with another video. This time looking at the match preview of tomorrow's game, Middlesbrough at home. So if you watched SAFC Fan TV during the week, you'll have seen us debating about whether it's a derby or not. I don't think it is a derby. I think like I said on the show, the Middlesbrough fans treat it as a derby, but for us, I think the Mags is our only real derby game. Not to say it's not going to have an edge, you know, a little bit of added incentive and all, because obviously Tony Mowbray is from there, he's their ex-manager, so it's always going to have a little bit of an edge to it. But like I say, it's not a derby game. I think Jack touched on, you know, if we lose against the Mags, then you know it takes a while to get over it. However, if we were to lose against Middlesbrough, yes, it would be annoying, yes, it'd be disappointing, but you know, it wouldn't be the end of the world. Would Sharp get over it. Onto the game though, it's going to be another difficult game. You know, with not wanting to repeat myself, I say it every video, but this one is going to be probably, other than Burnley, it's probably going to be our hardest test at home this season. And bearing on our home record, you know, it doesn't really bode well. Michael Carrick gone in there, obviously he replaced Chris Wilder 3 months ago, and the change he's made to their squad and their team. I think they were bottom 6 when he took over. They're now 4th in the league. They've won 9 of the last 10 games. You know, they're on a great record. His record overall, I think he's played 12, he's won 8, drew 1, lost 3. And now they got beat 5-1 in the cup against Brighton at the weekend. But you know, Brighton are a very, very good side at the moment. You know, they're playing really well, so that's probably that result's not as bad as it looks on paper. So when you think about, they've gone from the bottom 6 to the top 4 in only 12 games. They've got the league's top goal scorer in Chuba Apcom. He's got, I think it's 13 goals in 17 games this season. He's got 6 in his last 7, so he's flying. So you know, we're probably playing him at the wrong time. But you know, it's not to say we're not going to give him a decent game, we can't get a result against him. But you know, overall, our overall record is shocking against them as well. I think we've only won 1 of the last 10 games against them. That was a FA Cup game. The last time we beat them in the league was 2008, where 2 goals from Michael Chopra in the last 10 minutes gave us a 2-0 win. We've not kept a clean sheet in any of the last 10 games against them, and I think they have been first to score in 6 of the last 7. So recently our record against them has been absolutely shocking. Earlier in the season, you know, that was the game where Ross Stewart, you know, we lost him in the warm-up. That was the end of him for, as we know, for a good few games. So that was where the striker issue started. And if I'm honest, they weren't that much better than us. If I'm honest, you know, we had to adjust and change our gameplay at the last minute. You know, and it was still a decent show from us. You know, they didn't really overrun us, but you know, we lost the game. On top of that, injury wise, you know, we've got, if you've seen Tony Mowbray's press conference yesterday, he was asked about, you know, how's the injury situation, and I think his response was, you don't want to know about any new injuries, which doesn't bode well, mainly in defence. So I think we're going to be struggling tomorrow defensively as well. Now, you know, I don't want to sound all doom and gloom, but like I say, it's on paper, it's not looking good. But as we know, the games aren't played on paper. You know, things can pan out differently. Especially if we can start. Now, if we can start the same way we did against Swansea last week, then you know, I don't see any reason why we can't get a result. Like I say, the retirement form, the flying high, but you know they're not far above us. You know, I think we're still within 3 or 4 points of them. If we get a win Saturday, we get a win tomorrow, then you know it takes us back up and around the playoff picture. I'm going to stick my neck on the line. I think it'll be a high scoring game, but I'm going to go for us to win it by the odd goal. I'm going to go for a 3-2 win. Just to make it an exciting game, 3-2 win. Hopefully we can keep 11 players on the pitch. Team selection wise, like I've just touched on there, we might be struggling defensively, so we might see a few changes or a change of formation. So I'm just going to guess at what I think he'll do. So this is the formation that I think he's going to put out. I think we're probably looking at Patterson in goal. I've got a feeling he might go back to a back three, where he might have Wright, Ballard and Bat in there. This is providing all fit, because it looks like we've got some new injuries. We don't know who they are, but this is just what I'm surmising. So Wright, Ballard and Bat, with Hume on the right hand side wing back. I've got a feeling Jack Clark might slot back into the left wing back position. Then I think we'll have Dan Neil, Corey Evans, and I think Abdullah Bar might come in to play a 3 in the middle, and then Diallo just playing behind Ross Stewart. So kind of a 3-5 or a 5-3-2 formation, if you like. Mainly just because the threat that they opposed up front. Now I did see on the show on Thursday that you know, yes, we're at home and we should be on the front foot, so we shouldn't really be looking to play defensively. But it's not, you know, you kind of go gung-ho against a team in form, a team that's scoring goals, because they are a good counter-attacking side as well. So we've just got to be careful. But that's just the team I think he'll play. There's not going to be any new signings in before the game, so we've got no new players to call on. But like I say, just to summarise, it's going to be a difficult game. They're a team in form, they're flying high. They come here high on confidence, fancying they're going to get a result. But like I've said, the games aren't played on paper. If we can start on the front foot like we did against Swansea, maybe nick a goal, and then you know everything changes. We get confidence as high. We'll start knocking the ball about, and then hopefully we can get a win and get back up and around them playoff places again. Let us know what your thoughts are below. You know, what do you think the result's going to be? Are we going to get a win? Would you be happy with a draw? Is it a derby game? Where do you see it panning out? Just a little bit of transfer updates and all this. There's been no new updates as of yet. We're still being linked with a lot of players. But just a little side note, I know Pierre Ekwa played for West Ham's Premier League 2 side last night. He did score, he did play well. However, he was substituted at half time with an injury. Now I didn't know how bad the injury is. He was reportedly seen leaving the pitch after the game with the ice pack strapped to his ankle. So is that going to put the move in doubt? You know, we were told it was definitely done. It hasn't happened yet, but he was taken off at half time yesterday in the match last night injured. So not a good sign. Other transfer news, we've been linked with obviously now Nemeth from Genk, amongst other players. With him, the story's coming that he's going to stop at Genk till the end of the season. So looks like that one could be dead in the water. Geldhart, it looks like he's going to decide where he's going to go at some point in the day, but Wigan are the favourites to get his signature. He's been there before, he knows the club. For me, it's a strange one, but if it's just to get game time, you know, there's not a chance of a sign afterwards. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. We've also been linked with the winger from Lille. I think it's Lee Hadji, I think he's called. Now there's been raving reports come out of France about him. He's at France under 21 international. I think he had a broken leg maybe a couple of years ago, and apparently he was on the radar of Bayern Munich and Barcelona before that. So you know, he obviously had some potential, but how much that broken leg set him back, we don't know. But people are seeing him as kind of a replacement for Ahmad come next end of the season when Ahmad gets back to Man United. We'll give him half a season to bed in and then be ready for to stick in the team. Outgoings, obviously Bailey Wright's been linked with a move to Aberdeen. Again, it's all rumours. I'm guessing that'll all depend on if we get anybody in. I know we've been linked with that Charlie Cresswell from Leeds as well, but again, just rumours. Me personally, I would like to keep Bailey Wright. I think he's an experience around the squad. He's good for the young lads, and for me, when he's played, he's done nothing wrong. So I'm not quite sure why Tony Mowbray doesn't kind of fancy him. I think he's done rather well. The way he's always done well, never really let us down every time he's played. And I think when he's in the side, we play better. But again, it's all he's the manager. He picks the team. Who else could go out? You know, maybe he's players like, you know, Jefferson Bennett, who's not getting much game time at the moment. You know, would it benefit him to go into maybe League One and get some game time like we've done with Matete? Let him go to a good side in League One. Let him play a run of games and then come back next season. You know, looking better and, you know, getting used to English football. It'd be better for a run of games in the team. Apparently Edouard Michu, and now we've got the option to buy him, but apparently RB Leipzig and Newcastle have inquired about him as well, but again, it's all rumours and there's no concrete. So, you know, that's where we are transfer wise, and our Tony Mowbray said in his conference yesterday that we will sign some young exciting talent in the next 2 or 3 weeks. But me personally, I'd still like to see some experienced heads come in, and we still need, you know, at least 1, maybe 2 centre forwards. These are chance Ellis Sims could be coming back. I think they're just getting a striker, or on the verge of getting a striker at Everton. So will that mean Ellis Sims is now available to come back? You know, would you take him on a loan? Would you buy him permanent? Do you think he's done enough to warrant a permanent deal? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. But anybody that's going to the game tomorrow, the club's advising to get there early. It is a 12 o'clock kick-off. It is on Sky. But it's going to be a massive crowd. Let's hope we can will them on and get these 3 games. That's a 3 point, sorry, that's a derby but not a derby. But as I always say, you know, anybody travelling to the game, enjoy it. But most of all, take it easy, stay safe, and we'll speak soon. Ta-ra.